You know when someone close to you passed away, and while you're trying to process the shock and the grief, you're suddenly thrown into decision after decision, figuring out paperwork, making urgent call, finding password, paying for things you never thought you would have to pay all alone. It's already one of the hardest time of our life. And when you haven't been involved in your finance or you've been ignoring it altogether, it makes the situation even more difficult and harder. Hi, I'm Raina, biblical money mindset coach for Christian women who are ready to renew their mind, overcome fear, and transform how they think, feel, and behave with money. And today's episode is a gentle reminder, but a really necessary nudge. One I didn't expect to record today, but I think it's a conversation we should all have. Last week, I flew to Auckland for 4 days and I was there to support my cousin on his father's cremation day. I was there to interpret from French to English and also to bring a little bit of lightness when the day became a little bit heavy, and it sure did. But what shook me the most, it wasn't just grief, it was seeing my cousin struggling with everything on top of dealing with his own grief. He told me that at first he couldn't find his father's paperwork. He couldn't even find the passport. He had to pay things up front. My uncle's bank account are frozen. So what it means that he has to contact now every utility provider to either cancel or rewrite payment to his account so that he can still keep certain things going while he dealing with grief, with funeral arrangement, on top of everything else. And it made me realize that I will feel just like him, overwhelmed and probably very lost when my parents would pass away too. I wouldn't know what to do. You know, I left Tahiti 19 years ago. I don't know where my parents' documents are. I don't know who to call if something happened. I don't even know if I will arrive on time to organize everything being in a different country. It really hit me hard and it stirred up that biggest fear inside of me that I will not be ready, that I will not arrive on time, and that will be completely lost. You see, we often avoid the hard conversation because they are uncomfortable, awkward, emotional. But avoiding hard conversation doesn't actually protect us. It's only delaying peace. And sadly, I've seen the same kind of pain with women I have coached over the years. Women who suddenly lost their husband and were left completely overwhelmed and disoriented. Some didn't have access to the bank account and then it was frozen, or they didn't even know the password to get in. Others didn't know when the bills were due, which account were the automatic payment taken up from. Several didn't even have any emergency in place or have an account with their own name so that when the bank account was frozen, they still have some money that they could use for grocery or just paying for cost up front. They didn't have any of that. And the thing is that you may relate, and for them, it's not that they were careless. They were just not involved in their personal finance. Because somewhere along the way, they started believing the lie that my husband is better with money, that I can deal with that later on. But after losing their husband, they said it felt like learning how to live all over again, but this time alone and confused. And I don't want that for you. Their biggest regret, I wish I had paid more attention to my finance sooner and had those hardest conversations with my partner of my parents as well. And this is why I created the Biblical Money Mindset course. Not to teach you how to budget, though I do have a module called Stewardship, but it's to help you transform the way you think, feel, and behave with money so you can stop avoiding. Because the issue isn't the numbers, it's fear, guilt, shame, the belief that it's too hard or that you're too late. God called us to be good stewards, not just of what He has given you, but also with how you are preparing yourself for those difficult seasons, the wilderness. So stop postponing. Begin to work on healing your relationship with money now, while you still have time to talk to your partner about things. Talk to your parents about where things are. Now, for me, facing my parents' death is my biggest fear, especially now living in a different country. And so I get it. We avoid those conversations because sometimes it feels a little bit morbid, right? Talking about death. And you may be worrying that it may sound like controlling or maybe ungrateful. We often, me included, tell ourselves we will figure it out when the times come. But when we lose someone, we are not in a position to think logically. We are so emotional, and so we don't have access to our prefrontal cortex. But after talking to women who have taken the step to have those hard conversations, they told me that they feel a sense of peace, relief. And yes, the conversation will feel awkward at first. But once you start, once you understand the heart behind why we're doing it, it's stopping about control and it becomes all about love and stewarding our time, our resources, and our relationship well. Here are a few steps that I thought about and I will start implementing with my own parents. Very simple, but I'm sure it's gonna really help release that anxiety that you may feel as well and make a huge difference. So first thing is ask your husband, your parents, where the important documents are. Passport, insurances, bank account. Second, find out who their key contact person are, like the main doctors, if they already have in place funeral arrangement, lawyers, things like that. And start asking questions. Yes, I know it's hard. Like I will ask my mom, what will she want when she passed away? What about my father? What is his last wish? How does he want the whole funeral arrangement to go? Things like this that I think we all need to start thinking about. And pray for courage. You don't need to have the perfect words. You just need to have a willing heart to know that you want to be there to help. You want the process to be easy for you and for them. And so also, I'm sure that your parents would be less worried if they were to pass away because they know that you discuss those things with them. And you are a little bit prepared, even though we can never be prepared for things like that. And it's going to be difficult. But it's really changing from that anxiety and fear to just being wiser. And the other things that we need to do is preparing ourselves financially, not because of lack of faith, but it's just faithfulness in action. And if managing your own money right now is still something you avoid or feel anxious about, now is time to let God transform this part of your life too. And the Biblical Money Mindset Transformation Program wasn't created to teach you how to budget better. The real work happened deep beneath the numbers. It's about helping you renew your mind with God's word. It's about replacing fear, guilt, and avoidance with truth and peace. It's about shifting how you think, feel, and behave with money so you stop pushing it aside and start engaging with it in a way that honors God and serve your life. Because you know what? The conversation you are avoiding, the number you don't want to look at, the decision you keep putting off, they don't go away. They just grow heavier. But the good news is that you don't have to carry this all alone. God is with you, and He will give you the wisdom if you ask Him. And His truth is not just comforting, it's transformational. So if this episode stirs something inside of you, don't brush it off. Take the first step today, not in fear, but in love. Because stewardship isn't about numbers. It's about your relationship, your legacy, and preparing for what matters the most. I need to face my fear too. And when I will fly back to Tahiti in August, I will need to have that conversation with my parents. And I'm already thinking of creating a Google document where I will have a tab about the key contact details, the insurances number that I need to know about, the different bank account that they have, and who is the one paying most of the things. So I know that when there's an account that will be frozen, if my mom passed away or my father, I will know who to contact and what to do to redirect things around, and not just guess or hope that things will work out. I want to now face my fear, be prepared, and have that conversation with them, even if it will feel awkward when I get home. And so I just wanted to share that episode with you to tell you that we are in it together. I have my own fears that I have to deal with too. And I thank God that I can do it with His grace, His mercy, and ask for courage, and to give you permission to do those things as well. It can be scary, but I know that it will help us feel less anxious, because that's what I felt when I was with my cousin. I feel very scared about how will I deal with the situation if I receive that call that my parents passed away and I'm in a different country. And that was a big wake-up call for me. And I hope that today's episode was helpful to you as well. And if you want to leave me a message, you can contact me at Christian Money Mindset. You take care. Bye.